Good morning. Namaste. So this is our 10 a.m. Zoom meditation. So wherever you are, simply anchor yourself. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of any tension in your body. Become aware of any busyness in your mind. And simply breathe. Feel the inhale and exhale. Not trying to force it or control it, but simply allowing it to be. And with each inhale and each exhale, we allow our mind, we allow our body, we allow our emotions to settle, to deepen themselves. To connect with that part of us that knows the truth of our being, that spirit, source, God is all there is. We recognize this truth no matter what the external experience may be. Spirit, source, God. It's all there is. In fact, that is what is breathing itself right now in this breath as each and every one of us. And as we deepen this awareness, recognizing this truth of our beingness, we are able to see more deeply any thoughts or worries, fears or concerns about anything that we may be experiencing. These thoughts or worries or fears could be anything. They could be related to our physical bodies, to aging, to illness. They could be related to our relationships, feeling alone, abandoned, ignored, distant, and separated. They could be related to our finances, feeling broke, feeling in lack, feeling scarcity. They can be related to anger and bitterness and frustration with self or another. Whatever it is, we bring it to this moment. It is in this moment that what we understand is there is nothing that needs to be healed. Only truth to be revealed. And so we bring this truth of our beingness to all of these thoughts, to all of these feelings, to every aspect of our lives. We allow truth to radiate. And we breathe. checking in to find out if there's any physical tension where we may be holding on to those feelings and those thoughts. Recognizing that as we bring them to our mind, we may be clenching our jaw. We may be clenching our fist, stiffening our back, feeling tension in our neck. And so in this breath, we simply become aware of it and ease back into calm, relaxation, and awareness. We allow this truth to be the power and the presence in every aspect of our lives, recognizing that in God there is no lack or scarcity. Though we may experience it, the highest truth is that there is prosperity, abundance, infinite, eternal, and ever-expanding consciousness, expressing and individualizing itself in, through, and as all that is and all that is yet to be. And so we anchor to this power and this presence so powerfully that every atom of our being radiates with this awareness. Every tissue and muscle fiber strengthened by this truth that this body, God's body, is a temple of divine power and presence, as it is the very universe incarnating itself in, through, and as all that we are. And we breathe. We breathe, recognizing that at any moment we are able to shift our focus of awareness. We are able to change our mind, upgrade our paradigms, and experience life anew. And so in this moment, we bring that power to bear, identifying any thoughts, beliefs, paradigms, experiences that we are ready to up-level, evolve into, release, shift. So we recognize that if we have been thinking lack, experiencing scarcity, that in this moment, in this breath, we shift to the recognition of infinite abundance, prosperity, wealth, and opulence in all aspects of our lives, health and well-being, relationships, finances, spiritual practices, intellect, that all areas of our lives are divine, sacred, and as blessed as we embody, as blessed as we choose. And so in this moment we choose consciously, in this breath, we choose health and well-being. So powerfully that it's not simply for ourselves, but that we choose health and well-being for everyone and everything across the scope of this planet Earth. We envelop every animal, high and low. We envelop every tree and plant, every habitat, every environment, every city, every town, every village, every hut, every igloo. Every human being enveloped in this awareness of the infinite power and presence of the One, life itself, enveloping all in this consciousness of awareness that health and well-being is the truth of God. Love and joy, the higher truth, that even in the midst of experiencing pain, there is love. Even in the midst of experiencing illness and dis-ease, there is wholeness and completeness. And this is the exact reason why the body can be restored, because it aligns with this higher truth of and about itself. And so in this moment, in this breath, we anchor to that and surround this entire blue marble with the consciousness of health and well-being, restoration and vitality, love, ease, and grace. We understand that where two or more are gathered in the consciousness of that which is power, that which is presence, that which is love, must be in the midst. And so right now, as we anchor in this consciousness of more than two people, more than two minds, more than two conscious agreeing thoughts, we recognize that ultimately there is only one life. That life is God. That life is unified. That life is power. That life is health. That life is well-being. That life is experiencing and living itself in, through, and as each one of us right now. Anchored in this awareness, conscious of this truth, we send this vibration, this frequency, to everyone and everything. Not just in this moment of meditation, but even when we come out of meditation, we recognize that we are a broadcasting station, sending the frequency of and the vibration of health, wellness, togetherness, cooperation, collaboration, joy, wonder, infinite possibility, magnificence. That we are always breathing this truth. We are always radiating and immersing ourselves in it and broadcasting it to the world. And so as our meditation prepares to come to an end, we anchor and align with this realization that with every thought we are meditating. With every breath we are meditating. With every glance we are meditating. For there is no time, no space, no experience that can make us any less divine. Any less spirit. And as we consciously elevate our thoughts, our beliefs, our paradigm, our consciousness, we forever anchor to the truth of our being, embodying that which God is, embodying that which love is, embodying that which truth is. And so we breathe, coming back to the space of our room or office, living room, wherever it is that we are joining and participating in this meditation. We bring our awareness back to the chair or the sofa, the temperature of the room, the faces on Zoom, the sound of cars going by, our cat or dog or children. We simply bring our awareness back to this moment, recognizing that all is good because all is God. And so it is.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. My name is Tracy Rhymes, and I will be your host for today. Our awesome Senior Minister, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, will deliver today's message. And one of the hardest working women in CSL, Sue Monahan, is our practitioner on duty. Our sign language interpreters are Sonia Chavis and Rainika Permetla. They are assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community. We will now have our opening invocation. Is it led by Sue?
Good morning, everyone.
Led by Sue Monahan.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me? Okay. All right. So right here, right now, I rest and relax in this moment, in this place, in this space, sacred space that I've created for myself, right here and right now, knowing that although we are not joined together physically at the Center for Spiritual Living Baltimore, that we're all together here online in this wonderful Zoom platform that allows us to have this service, this message by our own Dr. Reverend Raymont Anderson, the interpreters, the music, everyone who contributed to bring this forward today. I am so grateful for that. So we give thanks, we release and let go, knowing that we're all here in spirit, even those that couldn't join us online or view it later. It's all good, all is well, and so it is.
And so it is. Now, we have announcements. While the planet is working to resolve this pandemic, the leadership of CSL Greater Baltimore would like you to also know the following. This is not a time to give in to fear. Worry and fear weaken and compromise the immune system. Do what is health conscious to the best of your ability and follow the recommended protocol that the medical community has stated. Spiritual mind treatment and prayer works. It definitely does. While many are experiencing COVID-19 and are gripped in all kinds of emotional confusion and angst, we as a community can continue to treat and move our feet accordingly to know the truth for everyone around the planet. And the CSL Greater Baltimore practitioners are available if you want specific prayer for yourself, your family, or another. Prayer requests can be sent to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. While we are encouraged to refrain from social gatherings, the CSL Greater Baltimore community is looking into convening some midweek Zoom gathering for such things as prayer, meditation, and other spiritual practices. If you are interested in joining us, email info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. So information regarding how to tithe or donate, go to the CSL Greater Baltimore website for the PayPal link, and you will also find the address to mail a check. Now it is time for Sue Monahan to assist us with preparing for the powerful message we are about to receive from Reverend Dr. Ray.
So I invite you all to just get comfortable in your chair, in the space that you're in, knowing that you're safe and secure and supported, feeling completely grounded. The chair, the sofa, wherever you are, that you're supported and grounded in this moment. Let's breathe in, take in that life-giving breath. Just breathing in deeply, knowing that every breath is a gift, this gift of life that is supportive of our whole entire system. That it brings the oxygen to every cell in our body. And so as we're breathing in deeply, let's just scan our body for anywhere where we may be holding tension. And direct our breath. Use our breath to allow ourselves to feel comfort in this moment, in this place. Breathing in deeply. Accepting the fulfillment of life through us, as us, because it is us. Sending your breath, allowing yourself to feel comfort, safe, warm, protected. And now as you're breathing in, I invite you to imagine this light, this bright light in your heart area. Whatever color you may choose. It may help to go to a place in a space where you find deep comfort. Maybe it's right where you are, maybe it's on the beach, or maybe it's in the mountains. Whatever brings you into alignment, into a feeling of well-being within yourself. And as you're doing this, imagine this light that is within you. This spiritual well-being and knowing that knows itself. And as you breathe in, recognize the expansive quality of this light. That as you're breathing in this breath, that this light is expanding out, outward, into your body. Allow this light to fill your body. Breathing in, feeling comfortable, feeling at ease, feeling perfect, whole and complete, just where we are. Feeling the resonance and the harmony of this light in every cell and fiber of our being. Breathing in, and as we breathe out, releasing and letting go any old ideas, any concepts that no longer serve us. We are in our peaceful, private, wonderful space within our imagination, within this body. We know that this light is working throughout, allowing us to feel perfect and healthy in every way. We breathe this in and we let it expand. We let ourselves feel full up with energy, vitality. We are vibrating with perfect harmony and resonance with that one power and presence that is all, that is the creative potential of all life and has life within us. We take this in time and this moment to completely nourish and nurture ourselves by going within, by breathing into this, by expanding our awareness and our consciousness, by feeling health and wholeness in our body space now. Just allowing ourselves to feel perfect and whole. And any time we can do this, we know this. We breathe in light, and we know that the light is not contained within us, that that's actually something that moves out from us too. So as we're doing this for ourselves, we are giving this to the world. We're giving this peace and tranquility, this health, this wholeness, this idea of vitality, this idea of peace, surrender, and trust within ourselves, within our community, within our state and our world and our earth, right here, right now. We dare to visualize this. We dare to feel and sense this. And it feels good. So just allowing this within us now. Just feeling so good about where we are, how we are, how our body responds. Knowing that we are doing the things that we need to do to nurture and nourish us when we leave this meditation, when we leave this space, that we're doing what is necessary, that we're paying attention, that we're consciously connected. Just knowing this in meditation feels good. So I invite you to sit in this place, in this space, while I offer a spiritual mind treatment. knowing that that which is God, that eternal creative presence, that divine energy force, that feminine nurturing force that is in all of life, is in us now. There is nothing else. We choose to accept this. We choose to know this about ourselves. And in doing so, we elevate our consciousness and our sense of well-being. By doing this for ourselves, we are doing it for those we are in relationship to. We don't ignore what's going on. We don't pretend it's not happening. If there's fear, if there's angst or anxiety, we breathe into that space. We acknowledge that space and we choose to move beyond it. That is the power that we have. In each and every moment, we make a conscious choice of well-being, regardless of what is going on outside. We know that we can do this. So gratefully, I acknowledge this. I breathe in health and well-being for myself and everyone here, for our families, for our friends, for our co-workers, for the medical profession. We do this. We breathe this in. We accept this. We acknowledge this one power and presence that is connecting us all. Even though we're not sitting in close proximity, we are all connected in this one power and presence and this goodness that we know, not just as some external force, but that is within us. So we pray, so we offer whatever is ours to do, knowing that that doesn't overwhelm or scare us, that it's made easy and effortless to us, that it's easy for us to move into this place and space. So I give gratitude and thanks. I give gratitude for this time being together, for the message that we get to receive, for seeing each other, for knowing that others will hear this message today too. I'm grateful for the interpreters. I'm grateful for the music. I'm grateful for this Zoom platform that gives us a choice and a selection. It is marvelous. It is wonderful. So I give gratitude and thanks. I release this treatment in the law. I trust and surrender that the highest and the best good is unfolding for me and my life and my family and those around me, for my community, for this church, for all that I know. It is all God. All is well. All is well in my life. All is well in my life now. And so it is.
Thank you, Sue, for that wonderful, awesome meditation. So now, are you ready? Got your seatbelts on? Well, maybe you want to take your seatbelts off and get ready to hear an amazing message, because he's going to knock it out the park today, from our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson.
Tracy, treat. So, I'm not. How's everybody doing today? Feel free to type into the comment box. What's up? What's going on? How are things in your world? So this is a very interesting thing because there are like 7 different cameras doing 16 different things all at the same time.
Hey Tracy, unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Shoot, you didn't unmute us.
Ha ha ha!
Leave it to Reverend Ray.
So, as I was saying, how is everybody today? So once again, feel free to type into the comment box because like I said, we have 7 different cameras doing 17 different things all at the same time. So you may see me periodically look that way, which I'm looking into one of the other cameras or look like, so just bear with us as we explore this amazing thing called technology. FYI, for those of you who are watching via multiple platforms, this will be posted on my YouTube channel and the CSL Greater Baltimore YouTube channel, so you'll be able to, get the full effect and the slides and everything. So be ready. So today we are talking about this thing, we're talking about the divine feminine still because it's still the month of March. And the title for today was Law as Womb. And because Ray loves acronyms, Tracy is forever making fun of me because of it, I changed it. So if you notice on the slide, it says Law is W.O.M.B. And it's an acronym. And I made it. Womb is where our manifestation begins. So it's this idea that when we anchor it into consciousness, that's where it starts. So it's not just a thought. We're going to get more into this in a moment, but it's not just a thought. It's where the thought goes, where it is planted, where it is placed. So today, come on with me. So the theme today, for my part, the life experiences, situation, dreams, goals, etc., that we desire to manifest all have a place in consciousness that they take form. If we are to develop greater stewardship and mastery of our ability to create and demonstrate accordingly, then it would benefit us to not only understand, but to apply a deeper awareness of the law. So that's sort of where we're going to go today. The additional theme related to the month of March and the divine feminine, law as the divine feminine creative medium, the soil. In science of mind, the law is equivalent to the soul or the subjective and is considered the receptive, creative aspect of God. It is here in the subjective that the creative process begins to take action, the place where our thoughts are nurtured into form and experience. So just, meditate on that for a moment and think about what does that resonate in you? What does that bring to mind? What does it mean to demonstrate or manifest or create or any of the buzzwords that we use? Like, what does that mean? And if I were to ask you, do you believe? Like the very first thing you may be thinking, well, what are you asking me? Do I believe what? Just, do you believe? Do you believe something? Is there anything that you believe? Like, do you believe? I'm waiting. Like, do you? Okay, I got you. That's fine. So, do you believe? Yes, everybody believes in something. But the question then becomes, what do you believe? So sitting with that for a moment, what do you believe? And we could go through a whole bunch of things. And most pressing right now, this pandemic. What do you believe regarding the pandemic? Do you believe what all of the fear-mongering and scarcity and fighting over toilet paper, like, do you believe in that as a consciousness that we are agreeing to participate in? Do you believe that that's necessary? Or do you believe that there is a power and a presence that is greater than the fear and greater than the panic and greater than what we may be experiencing as a globe feeling and experiencing this thing called COVID-19. Like, so knowing what you believe is important. And then if I ask the question, yeah. But what do you really believe? Like, that's the big thing. What do you really believe? Because we can say we believe something, but if it's not showing up in our lives as a practice, then it's not what we really believe. Like, I can say I believe that love is ... I can say I believe that health and well-being and joy and ... I can say I believe that. But if in my life experience, when I'm sitting down having coffee with Marianne or having dinner with Tracy or meeting my new friend Pat, if I'm sitting down and we're there, and they hear me talking about, yeah, but did you get the last bottle of hand sanitizer? Like, if that's what they're, I have 7,000 rolls of toilet paper stored away in the basement. If that's what I'm talking about, in the close comfort conversation with those I'm closest to, then they're going to see what actually I'm walking. So what we believe and what we really believe are very often two different things. So therein lies the question. If we look at our life experience, we have evidence of whatever it is that we are really believing. So do you believe you can create, manifest, demonstrate, experience what you desire in your life? Do you believe that? Do you believe you can create, manifest, demonstrate, and experience what you desire in your life experience? When we talk about you can be, do, and have, do you believe that you can? And be mindful. There's do you believe? And do you really believe? Are you willing to do what you need to do? Are you willing to do what you need to do in order to do this, in order to experience this? What are some things that you feel are hindering you from experiencing this? And note that I said feel. And the reason it's feel is because we know that in the Bible there's a passage that says, as a man thinketh, as a person thinketh in their heart. So it's not just what's going on in your mind. It's not just what you think you believe. It's what you feel. It's what you know. So, what do you feel is hindering you? What are the beliefs? What are the paradigms? What in consciousness do you believe that it's someone or something that is blocking you from being healthy, blocking you from being wealthy, blocking you from having love, blocking you from, what is it? Because unless we actually ground into this and address it and bring truth of this philosophy, of the teaching, New Thought, and Science of Mind and Spirit, unless we address it, we always talk about speak truth to power. Well, if there's a power that we believe is preventing this, the power of the government is preventing me from, the power of my family is preventing me from, the power of illness is preventing me from. I hear you. If we believe that power is what's preventing it and we don't speak truth to it, then that stays in power. So when we elevate and now speak truth to power, we realize that this is pseudo power and it fades away, and now we are operating from a different level of consciousness. So once again, are you willing to do what you need to do in order to shift and experience whatever it is you want to be, do, and have? Are you really? So some of you are going to remember this, the original Let's Make a Deal, or the new version with Wayne Brady. So what are you willing to do or to become? Because that's the idea. In order to experience something new, we have to change. It's either something we need to do has to change. For example, if I want to experience a healthier body, then I have to do something different. That may mean exercise, it may mean meditate, it may mean get a massage for my own health care, it may mean Reiki, it may mean eat less sugar or no sugar, it could mean a bunch of things. But I have to be willing to become someone different to experience something different. So if I want to be a millionaire, then what do I need to do today? When I don't have $1 million in the bank, who do I need to become today? What do I need to do today to step into that level of consciousness today? Well, one of the things that we really don't like to do is fasting. And I'm not talking about not eating stuff. I'm talking about, what if I said you had to fast in order to shift the paradigm, right? You got that with me. Fast from what is not supporting the energy and alignment of that which you say you desire to create, manifest, demonstrate, and experience. So fast from that. So anything that you believe, anything that you think, anything that someone told you is what's prevented. Fast from that. Refrain from ingesting or imbibing that. Abstain. Fast from the thoughts, the relationships, the foods, the drinks, the environments, the social media outlets, etc. Abstain, refrain from all of it. People, places, things, thoughts, like anything that you know or are willing to know is the thing that's pulling you down, holding you back, blocking the truth from being what you are walking in. Whatever that is, refrain from it. Leave it alone. Would you still be willing to do it? Like that's what it comes down to. Are you still willing to do what you need to do to live how you say you want to live? That's the thing. That's the hard part. Because when it comes to, we talk about putting the pedal to the metal, putting rubber meets the road, talking, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. Put your money where your mouth is. Like, we got all these phrases and sayings about it, but when it comes down to it, are we really willing to do the work? So in the Bible, there is a story or parable where Jesus is talking about the sower and the seed and the soil. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the gist of it is being mindful of where are we placing the seeds? Where are we placing our thoughts? Where are we anchoring our consciousness? But the thing is, Jesus isn't just talking about the seeds. He's talking about the soil, the place where the seeds are going. And there are a couple. So one is where the birds are. And the birds peck and eat the seeds. How many of us know that we have friends or family members or someone that as soon as we share with them the idea that we want to write a book or do a workshop or something, they start pecking at it, taking away the power of, do you really believe you can? Like, what makes you think, ain't nobody gonna buy your book? Like, you've only been doing this for 2 years or 2 months. What makes you an expert? The naysayers. So they're the birds, the naysayers, the ones who don't even give the seed a chance to sink into the soil. They're already devouring it and getting rid of it. Then we have the place where the sun is scorching the seeds. So once again, the seed doesn't have a chance to settle in. It's on the surface. So there are times when we're thinking about it, and then whatever this consciousness of lack, limitation, impossibility, whatever that is, it scorches, it burns up the seed, making it something that no longer can produce fruit. It no longer will produce, it will no longer grow. It's burned away. And so the birds, think about that as other people. The sun scorching, that's when we are our own worst enemy. We are scorching our own possibility and potentiality. We are burning it up. We don't even give the world a chance to see the book, the workshop, the whatever. Because how many of us have said, so what I'm going to do is plan for the worst. I'm going to scorch it. And if by chance it grows, then yay. But I'm going to go ahead and set up, a plan of action to prepare for a worst case scenario. Like, I'm not planning for best case scenario, I'm planning for the worst case scenario. Or we'll do things where we'll criticize what we're wearing to say, well, if I put myself down first, then when somebody else does it, their words can't affect me because I've already done it to myself. We're scorching it. And then we have the seeds that are being choked out by the weeds. And then we have the seeds that fall into rich soil. So being choked out by weeds, when we have conflicting thoughts and paradigms. So one of those things that says, I'm placing into consciousness to be wealthy, rich, and abundant, to have more than enough money to share and to spare. And then the weed of, the thorn bush of lack and scarcity rears its head and says, but you only have $2 in the bank. And you have to pay the cable bill. And you know the lights are going to get shut off tomorrow. And so then these other thought forms, these other paradigms start to choke out. Because the seeds started to take root. But the other things are now taking the nutrients away from. It's now choking it out. And so it's trying to grow, but the weeds and the thorn bushes, etc., are clawing at it and overshadowing it and preventing it. And then we have the ones that fall into rich soil, rich, nutrient, dense, dark, excellent, healthy soil without any obstruction, and it grows. Which one of these? Because on any given day, we may go through any of these. But the thing is, becoming conscious of which one am I operating from more often than not. And if I recognize that I'm with the thorn bushes the majority of the day, then I'm able to change it. I'm able to do what I need to do to get rid of the thorn bushes. If I recognize that it's the birds, the ravens, and the crow, then I do what I need to do to shoo them away. I'm going to put a scarecrow up or whatever. If I only had a brain, like I'm going to put a scarecrow up to scare the birds away so that I can then tend to the soil. Because if the soil isn't ready to receive the seed, if my consciousness isn't ready to receive the truth, then I'm going to fight against it. So I have to not only tend to the birds, if that's where I am, get rid of them, but also make sure the seed is ready to plant and make sure the soil is ready to receive it. So I have to become aware of where am I on any given day, on any given moment, in this breath right now. Where am I? And recognize that if I'm not where I want ideally to be for the most life-affirming, then I need to shift it. I need to make a different choice. But that's where we come to the thing about fasting again. Because this is where it gets challenging. This is where the work comes in. Because when I recognize that I may not be where I want to be, then I have to do something different. I have to become someone different in order to shift. I have to become the sower who knows how to garden. Which means I may have to get a brand new skill set. I may build a scarecrow. Well, then I'm going to watch The Wizard of Oz. Like, I have to be able to identify where I'm lacking in knowledge or awareness, and then take a class, workshop, find a practitioner, get a life coach, go to the minister. I have to do whatever it is I need to do to shift my paradigms, to shift my consciousness, to elevate and evolve so that I am now effectively engaging in life-affirming practices. So I'm going to apologize in advance. So I'm going on a tangent once again, and the tangent is going to be a very interesting one, so just bear with me on this for a moment. Are you ready? I don't think you are. I know Sonia wasn't when she read the slides yesterday, but here we go. Do you know what masturbation used to be called and why historically it has been frowned upon? Yeah, that's an actual question. You don't have to answer it, but I want you to think about it for a second. Do you know what it used to be called, way back when, what it used to be called, and why it was frowned upon? Because it links back to the Bible and how men have typically misinterpreted, mistranslated, misrepresented the Bible. So Let's go down the rabbit hole of this one. So at one time it was called the sin of Onan, or Onanism. And the basic idea was Onan was told to impregnate his brother. His brother had died, and he was told by the Lord to impregnate his brother's wife so that his brother would have an heir moving forward. And Onan was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And so he spilled his seed upon the ground. Now you may be wondering, what does that have to do with us? You know the passage in the Bible where it says, talks about throwing your pearls before swine? It's the idea of when and where do we waste our creative potential? How many of us have something inside of us wanting, seeking to birth and create? How many of us want to become and step into a greater level of loving and living and enjoying life? But rather than do what we need to do, we stay on a nice, even beep, beep, beep. We're barely making it. But life is fine. It's all good. You know, same old, same old. I don't want my day to be the same old, same old. I don't want Tuesday to be just as, I want Tuesday to be better than Monday was. I want Wednesday to be better than Tuesday was. I want Thursday to be better than, I want Friday to be better than, I want Saturday to be better than, I want Sunday to be better than. Like, I want each day in some way to incrementally, boop, boop, boop. Like, I want more joy, more love, more enthusiasm. I don't care if it's a millimeter of a fraction of a quantum, I don't care how much it is, but I should be able to measure that some way each day my life is embodying and demonstrating more of what this eternal, infinite, ever-expanding consciousness is as me. How am I shifting into that? Or am I wasting my creative potential to manifest the same old, day in and day out? So once again, the invitation is to become more aware of how and what we are creating. Every thought is a seed placed in the soil of consciousness. And when filled with the energy of emotion, we are creating. And I use that term sort of loosely, but we are creating. Follow along with me. Because we are technically, lost my place. Because we technically are not creating, nor are we co-creating, technically. But I'm going to talk about that in a moment. We are participating in a process of transformation, transcendence, and transmutation as we take one form of energy and mold it into another. So what that means is we're not creating anything. Spirit, source, God, the universe creates. And what it is as us, we are taking thought, shifting energy till thought becomes form. We are transcending and transmuting, doing this spiritual alchemy thing where we are, and there's no co-creating. The reason I say we're not co-creating, because that implies there's us and God. But there's only God showing up in, through, and as us. And so it, in, through, and as us, is taking this thought in our mind, which is also its mind, because there's only one mind, and it is doing what it needs to do, which means the entire universe, in concert with where we are and what we are, all working together as a unified force, is bringing this into manifestation. We are always creating. Notice that in physics, there's this thing called the conservation of matter, the principle that says matter is neither created nor destroyed during any physical or chemical change. So once again, we're not creating it, and it can't be destroyed. You know, sometimes we talk about unlearning something. You don't unlearn. You learn something new and let that fade away. We don't destroy anything. We shift. We transcend. We up-level, like I said, through alchemy. So the seeds nor the soil are not something we technically create. We don't create the seeds. We don't create the soil. They already are as part of the entirety of what God is. Right? Like, I don't create thought. I simply think, which means that which God is, as me, simply thinks. There's only one mind. That mind is God, and it thinks. And my thoughts are its thoughts. I didn't create the thoughts. Right? So we are technically not creating the thoughts, nor are we creating the law or the soil. It already is. What we are doing is learning how to actively and consciously engage and align and participate in this practice. We can, however, misuse the principles. You know, we can think thoughts that are not life-affirming. We can think thoughts of addiction and trauma and abuse. We can think those thoughts and create those experiences and situations. We can think about fear and give our bodies reason to respond the way it responds. Like we can imagine, for example, how many of us have ever presupposed the thought and said, you know, the reason that person didn't call me back is because they really didn't like me, the date went really poorly, and we create this whole story of why the date went wrong and all this stuff, and we start going through, they don't like me, it's because I gained weight, it's because I lost too much weight, it's because I had too much perfume on, it's because I had too much cologne on, I shouldn't have worn that dress, I shouldn't have worn that shirt. We go through all this stuff. And as soon as we get to the bottom of, the phone rings and we're like, oh, they called me. And we find out they got called into work or something, and that's why they weren't able to call us. And we were like, I just went through this whole dramatic lifetime story of why Young and the Restless. Yeah, here we go. Okay. But we do that. So we're always creating. Question is, are we creating what we desire? Are we creating what we don't desire? And yet, if we're creating what we don't desire on some level, it's what we want because it's what we're creating. So our encouragement is shift and start creating. Shift and start thinking more effectively. Shift and start acting more effectively. Shift and start becoming that which we desire to become and demonstrate. We can create experiences of trauma and abuse, or we can create experiences of cooperation, collaboration, and community. We create ways to hurt one another, or we create ways to help and support one another. We are always creating something. If creation is to take place, there must be a divine imagination, which is spontaneous and a creative medium through which it acts. This creative medium is the law of mind. Dr. Ernest Holmes goes on to also say, the feminine principle is the universal soul, which we talked about before. In the human, it is the subjective or subconscious intelligence. The universal medium or soul has been called the womb of nature, the Holy Mother, because it is receptive to the Spirit and is impregnated with divine ideas. So once again, this idea of the womb being where our manifestation begins. The law. That soil where the seed goes in, and that's where the seed cracks open and starts to germinate and grow. And we're always doing that in some way, shape, or form. Question is, are we creating what we desire? So at this moment, I would like us to engage in a spiritual practice. So simply anchor yourself. You can either lower your gaze or close your eyes. It's up to you. But simply shifting and going within. Bring your mind to one thing that you desire to create, manifest, demonstrate, experience in life. Engage as many of your senses as you can to fully immerse yourself into it and it into you. As you bring it to your mind, begin to anchor it in your heart. What do you feel having manifested it, created it, demonstrated it, experienced it? How is your life made better emotionally as a result of having achieved the successful demonstration of your desires? Feel what the answered prayer feels like. Breathe into it and let that feeling vibrate throughout your entire body. Feel the joy rising from your feet, through your legs, your pelvis, and your root chakra. Up your spine and torso, through your sacral and solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, through your neck and your throat chakra, your head and your third eye and your crown chakras. And allow this energy to go even beyond to the chakras that rise above the crown. As you are anchored and grounded and open both at the bottom and expansive and evolving and open at the top. Allow yourself to be receptive to the insight and intuitive knowing of what is yours to do. Actively and consciously participating in the process of creation, manifestation, demonstration, and experiencing that which you desire to be, to do, and to have as your lived experience. What and who you are in this moment is blessed. Releasing anything that needs to be released, you are blessed. What life-affirming ways in this moment are you invited to shift, to make space for this manifestation and demonstration and new experience? Feel the answers flowing to you. And know that this infinite flow of truth is coming to you each and every day, with each breath, with each thought, with each dream, each conversation, each interaction. Breathe into it and let it breathe into you. Now, in this state of full awareness, we come back to this moment of service, fully aware, fully conscious, and fully ready to move forward to live the life that we desire and the life that we deserve. And I encourage you to, if any intuitive hits or ideas came to mind, jot them down, because they are your invitation to move forward, to step into what it means to actively be an effective steward of law, an active and effective steward of knowing what it means to embody where our manifestation begins. To recognize and step into that. Our call to action. So are you ready? Number one, homework this week. Explore what Holmes meant when he said, our work will best be done in quiet expectancy and in calm confidence. The results rest in the eternal law of good. Simply explore, what does that mean to you? Remember, we talked about what do you believe and what do you really believe. So explore, what do I believe about that? What does that mean to me? And what does this look like as a lived practice? Second, contemplate how you are stewarding your seeds and make note of where you can more effectively steward them. And not just the seeds, the soil as well. How are you tending to the soil? So how are you taking care of your thoughts? Do your thoughts take care of you, or do you take care of them? So you're watching the news, or you go to the store because you're going to get apples because you want to make an apple pie, and you see people rushing around the store. They gotta get the last roll of toilet paper. They gotta get the last hand sanitizer. They gotta get some wet wipes and the Clorox wipes, and they gotta get it. And you're like, dude, I'm just here to get some apples and some nutmeg because I'm making an apple pie. Or do you get there and you see the franticness of it, and because thoughts are running you rather than vice versa, you start wondering, maybe I should go get, maybe I should get apples, nutmeg, and a roll of toilet paper. Like maybe that's what everybody else is doing. That's what everybody else is doing. That's what everybody else is doing. Maybe I should do what everybody else is doing. I don't know. So once again, what do you believe? What do you really believe? Are you standing anchored and confident and saying, I know that I'm fine. I have more than enough toilet paper at home, because what I'm doing every day as part of my practice is tending my seeds, tilling the soil of consciousness, and anchoring and knowing that this thing called pandemic, the healing is already present in it, or it wouldn't show up. Like, recognize that when there is a problem, the only reason there can be a problem is because there is already a solution for said problem. You can't have 2 + 2 and never have 4. The reason you have 2 + 2 is because there is a 4. The reason you have whatever this illness, dis-ease, discord, whatever this is that is showing up, it is showing up with the invitation that says, here's the Rubik's Cube that has been messed up. The only reason it's there is because somewhere in consciousness, the solution already exists. So are you anchored in what it means to be an effective steward of that level of consciousness? And then lastly, practice that spiritual practice that we just did, the one that I read for you. And if you want it, feel free to email me or message me or whatnot, and I'll make sure that you have a text form of it, or if you want me speaking it, I can do that as well, but just let me know. But practice it at least, well, it says at least twice. It says at least twice. But I know that may be a challenge for some folks. So I'm going to give you, do it at least once. At least one time. Takes all of 5 minutes. Well, depending on how you do it. The way I did it is more like 7, 8, 9, or 10. But it takes all of 5 minutes. It's not that long. Some people spend more time in the bathroom. It's not that much time. You can do this. At least once. Practice what it means to anchor into the awareness and the consciousness of what do I desire to be, do, and have, and what do I need to shift? What do I need to become? Who do I need to become in order to demonstrate and manifest this? Today's affirmation. I evoke, and the reason it is evoke, because there is nothing that needs to be called in. I do not need to invoke. I don't need to call in. In this moment, what I am doing is calling from within to come outward. I evoke the power of the divine and all that it is as me. And I allow the unleashing of this fierce, loving, infinite givingness to transform my life now. And wherever you are, if you are so willing to speak these words with me aloud, let the neighbors hear you. So, are you ready? Together we say, I evoke the power of the divine and all that it is as me. And I allow the unleashing of this fierce, loving, infinite givingness to transform my life now. Knowing that, we breathe it, we live it, and so it is. And at this moment in service, we will declare our prosperity declaration. So if you have your offering, like literally if you have your checkbook, or you have your wallet or your purse, it's not like you're going to do this right now because there's nothing to go around, or you're using the app, or you're going to the website to do it via PayPal, like however you are going to do it. We know that everything exists in consciousness first. So you don't have to, actively hold it, but you can if it helps you to ground and anchor. But in this moment, we are anchoring and grounding to knowing that that which is money, that which is tithe, that which is donation, is energy that we are investing into our spiritual community wherever it is that we are fed and nurtured and nourished. And together we say, I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so at this moment, I am trusting that you will tithe or promise to tithe, because I know some people don't like doing things via the internet, so that's fine. You can go to the website, you can do it, mail in a check, there are so many different ways, but anchor into that you agree that you will participate in the law of circulation by supporting and by tithing, by donating your spiritual investment into the community. And so before I do the closing benediction, just anchoring in this awareness, knowing that every dollar, every coin, every energetic level of creation that goes into tithing and donating into what this teaching is, into what this philosophy is, into what New Thought is, knowing that on the leading edge of consciousness, we are shifting, we are healing, we are demonstrating, we are manifesting, we are walking the walk of what it means to be a world that works for the highest and best of all. Anchoring in this, I surrendered into the law, knowing that the seed is good and oh so good, knowing that the soil is rich, and knowing that it being where manifestation begins, it is already growing. It is already reaping a harvest. It is already bringing in. It is already sending out love, joy, compassion, power, and presence that we know that is right here and right now in this awareness of I am that I am. As Ernest Holmes said, God in me, as me, is me. And we breathe. And I simply shift over into the closing prayer, the benediction of service, knowing that service was good and oh so good, even in the midst of this thing called pandemic. That we were able to connect, able to align, able to be with one another through this thing called technology, whether Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, simply appreciating the ability to still come together as a beloved community, no matter where in the world we presently are. That there are people in Mexico watching, that there are people in Africa watching, that there are people in China watching, there are people in every state in the United States of America watching. In some way, shape, or form, we are reaching, sharing, connecting, heart to heart, mind to mind, life to life. And knowing that as we do this, that the entire quantum field that surrounds the planet Earth, that emanates throughout the entirety of the Milky Way, that this consciousness, this awareness of unity, of love, of compassion, of health and well-being is the truth for all that is, that which is seen and yet to be seen, that which is manifest and yet to be manifest. It's all God and it's all good. And so I surrender this and simply allow the law to do what it does. Demonstrate, manifest accordingly. Surrender because I know it is done. Surrender because I know that this prayer is God praying itself into creation, praying itself into demonstration, praying and treating itself into life experience. For there's only one life, that life is God. That life is living itself in, through, and as all. And knowing this, I know that it already exists in the mind of God, fully formed and fully functioning, health and wholeness, life and magnificence, joy, unity, collaboration, support, and nurturing of community, the community called Earth. There are no borders, there are no walls that can separate that which God is. And so right here and right now, everyone on planet Earth joined in life, joined in love, joined in God. It is, and together we declare this, knowing this to be the truth by saying, and so it is. Thank you all for joining us for our virtual service. Tracy told me, click the button, Ray, click the button. So we appreciate you and we thank you for joining us, however it is that you are joining us, whether it's Zoom, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, however it is that you are joining us. Thank you, we bless you, we love you, we appreciate you, and if you have any comments, questions, or anything, feel free to email me or email Tracy. Let us know, just reach out and touch somebody's hand. Let them know that God is all that there is. Yes! Ha! Woo! Thank you, everybody. Love you very much. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you soon. Take care. God bless.